My name is Elena Vargas. I am 36 years old and serve as operations director at a logistics company. 3 weeks before my younger sister Valeria's wedding, I received a message from my mother that simply read, "Do not disturb," when I asked for details about the ceremony. "You are not part of the planning committee." It did not surprise me. My entire life had been like this. Valeria was the princess. I was the practical one. Valeria studied fashion design and needed constant support to chase her dreams. I had studied industrial engineering on a scholarship and always knew how to take care of myself. The difference was clear to everyone except me. I kept trying to earn a place in my own family. The wedding would take place in the garden of my parents' house in a beautiful countryside estate. Valeria was marrying a 29-year-old businessman whose main occupation seemed to be posting photos on Instagram. My mother was thrilled. Finally, a daughter who knows how to choose well. 1 week before the wedding, I tried to offer help. I wrote to my mother asking if they needed anything and whether I could assist with final expenses or coordination. Her reply came immediately. "Everything is already paid for thanks to Valeria and her future husband. We do not need charity from daughters who only appear when it suits them." It hurt, but I let it pass. I always did. 2 days before the wedding, another wave of messages arrived. Valeria had posted photos of the dress, the flowers, and the 5-tier cake. Everything was pure opulence. My mother commented on every photo, "My successful daughter deserves the very best." That night, when I gently suggested in the family chat that the budget might be excessive, my mother exploded. "Typical of you, Elena. Always criticizing, never supporting. Valeria worked hard for this." "Mom, I only. The wedding is not for ungrateful daughters," she wrote in capital letters. "Do not come. You are not welcome." Then she blocked me on WhatsApp, on Instagram, and everywhere else. My father called me afterward, clearly uncomfortable. "My daughter, you know how your mother is. Give her space. Come to the wedding and do not make a scene." But the damage was done. For the first time in my life, something inside me hardened. It was not sadness. It was clarity. The next day, Friday afternoon, I received a call from an unknown number. "Miss Elena Vargas?" "Yes. Who is speaking?" "Attorney Alejandro Torres from the Torres & Associates Notary Office. Miss, I have urgent information regarding a property registered in your name." My stomach tightened. "What property? I do not own any property." "Exactly. That is why I am calling." His voice was serious. "There is a house in an upscale neighborhood of Mexico City registered under your name 6 months ago with an active mortgage of 1,580,000 pesos with HSBC. The world stopped. "That is impossible." "I know, miss. That is why I am calling. The payments are 3 months overdue. The bank contacted me to begin foreclosure proceedings, and when I reviewed the documents, I found serious irregularities." "What kind of irregularities?" "The signature on the deed does not match your official identification. The documents were presented by your mother, Mrs. Guadalupe Vargas, who claimed to be your legal representative." The blood drained from my face. My mother is not my legal representative. "I know. That is why this constitutes fraud, identity misrepresentation, and document forgery." He paused. "Miss Vargas, are you aware that your mother purchased this property supposedly in your name and mortgaged it immediately?" "No. I had no idea." "Well, now you have a debt of nearly 2 million pesos in your name, and if it is not resolved, your credit history will be ruined." I sat on the floor of my office, my legs trembling. "What can I do?" "I need you to come to the office immediately with your official identification and any documents proving you did not authorize this transaction. I will contact the prosecutor's office. This is a serious offense." That night in Attorney Torres's office, I examined the documents. My signature appeared everywhere on deeds, mortgage contracts, and promissory notes, all expertly falsified. "Why would she do this?" I asked, although I already knew the answer. The attorney showed me more papers. The property had been purchased for 2,800,000 pesos. My mother made a down payment of 1,220,000 pesos and financed the rest. The property was registered in the name of my sister Valeria Vargas. Your mother used your name for the mortgage because you have a stronger credit history and verifiable income. Then she transferred the property to your sister. And the down payment, where did she get more than 1 million pesos? The attorney pulled out another folder. "These are bank statements from an account in your mother's name. There are consistent monthly deposits of 93,000 pesos for the last 7 years." My breathing stopped. I recognized those numbers and those dates. "Those deposits come from an account associated with your sister Valeria Vargas," the attorney continued. "But the original source." He looked at me directly. Have you been transferring money to your sister every month? I nodded slowly. For our parents to help with expenses. Valeria asked me to send it to her because our father did not want to feel supported by me. I understand. The attorney leaned back in his chair. Miss Vargas, your family accumulated approximately 7,812,000 pesos from your transfers over 7 years. They used that money to buy an expensive property, put it in your sister's name, and left the debt in yours. The truth hit me like a collapsing building. What can I do? I asked, my voice surprisingly calm. We will file a complaint for fraud, document forgery, and identity misrepresentation with the prosecutor's office. The public prosecutor can act quickly in cases like this. He paused. When is your sister's wedding? Tomorrow, Saturday at 6 in the evening. The attorney smiled slightly. Perfect. The investigator I know can be there in time. That night I did not sleep. I prepared every document, every bank transfer from the last 7 years, every text message where my mother and Valeria urgently asked me for money for our father, every conversation where they made me feel guilty for asking how the money was spent. Saturday afternoon I dressed in a sleek black tailored suit, elegant yet discreet. I wore the pearl earrings my grandmother had given me and drove the 2 hours to the estate. I arrived at the garden at 5:30. The wedding was at 6 and the reception at 7. I saw the white tents, the tables decorated with expensive flowers, the stage for the band. Everything was excessive, everything was beautiful, and everything had been paid for with my money. My mother saw me from a distance. Her face turned to fury. She walked toward me quickly. What are you doing here? I told you not to come. I came to my sister's wedding, I replied calmly. You are not welcome. Leave. Before what, Mom? I interrupted gently. Before I ruin your perfect day? Before I ask how you paid for all this? Her face paled slightly, but she recovered quickly. That is none of your business. Valeria and her fiancé paid for their wedding. With what money, Mom? With their savings? With their jobs? Or with the 93,000 pesos I have been sending every month for 7 years? The silence between us grew heavy. My mother glanced around, making sure no one could hear. That money was to help the family, she hissed. It was for your father, for his retirement, for his medicines, for the family. She repeated louder. Valeria is family. She needed a good start in life. You already have your career, your apartment, your own life. She deserves a house worth nearly 3 million pesos bought with my money and a fraudulent mortgage in my name. My mother froze. Her face went from red to white in seconds. How? Attorney Torres called me yesterday, I said quietly. From the notary office. Apparently I have a debt of 1,580,000 pesos that I never authorized. Elena, I can explain. Explain how you forged my signature, how you pretended to be my legal representative, how you bought a house, put it in Valeria's name, and left the debt in mine. My mother tried to grab my arm. I stepped aside. Daughter, please do not make a scene. It is your sister's wedding. No, Mom. This is the day your deception is exposed. At that moment I saw 3 vehicles pull up in front of the house, 2 official cars from the state prosecutor's office and 1 private vehicle. Attorney Torres stepped out of the private car. From the official vehicles 4 agents emerged, led by a woman about 45 years old with an identification badge hanging from her neck. Miss Elena Vargas? The lead investigator asked. Yes, Investigator Monica Rivera from the Special Unit for Financial Crimes. We have an order to question Mrs. Guadalupe Vargas and Miss Valeria Vargas for aggravated fraud and document forgery. The guests began to turn. My mother tried to step back, but I stopped her with a single word. Mom, do not move. Valeria appeared from the house, still in her robe, with her makeup artist behind her. What is happening, Mom? Investigator Rivera approached. Miss Valeria Vargas, we have questions about a property registered in your name in an upscale neighborhood of Mexico City and about suspicious bank transfers. The garden filled with murmurs. The groom Miguel appeared, looking confused. What property, Valeria? What are they talking about? My sister looked at me with pure hatred. This is your fault. You could not let me be happy for one day. Valeria, I said calmly, did you know Mom forged my signature to buy your house? Did you know she left a debt of nearly 2 million pesos in my name? You have money. You could help us. I sent you 7,812,000 pesos in 7 years, I replied. Was that not enough help? The silence was absolute. Even the band stopped tuning their instruments. Miguel looked at Valeria. What? Almost 8 million? You said your savings came from? He completed, bitterly, looking at my mother. Everything is always from Elena, the successful one, the one with money, the one who can afford to be stingy with her own family. Investigator Rivera intervened. Ladies, I need you to come with me to make a statement. You have the right to call a lawyer. I did nothing wrong. My mother shouted. I am her mother. That money belonged to the family. Ma'am, the investigator said firmly, forging documents and misrepresenting identity are serious offenses. The money does not change the falsified papers. The agents began guiding my mother and Valeria toward the vehicles. Guests pulled out their phones. Some recorded, others took photos. The entire garden dissolved into chaos of whispers and movement. Miguel approached me, his face filled with absolute confusion. Elena, I swear I knew nothing about this. I know, I answered wearily. Valeria did not know everything either. She only knew Mom had found a way to buy the house. He shook his head. 7 million over the years, and she always complained that you never helped the family. 4 weeks later, the charges were formalized: aggravated fraud, document forgery, and identity misrepresentation. My mother faced 6 to 12 years in prison. Valeria, for receiving goods from illicit activity, faced 3 to 5 years. The house was seized and sold for 2,600,000 pesos. After paying the mortgage, 1,200,000 pesos remained and went directly toward covering part of my fraudulent debt. The bank, after verifying the deception, removed the remaining debt from my credit history. Miguel cancelled the wedding permanently. The last I heard, he had blocked my entire family. My father called me once 3 months later. Daughter, your mother says that with a good lawyer she can get conditional release if you drop the charges. I will not drop the charges, Dad. Elena, she is your mother. My mother defrauded me of nearly 2 million pesos and destroyed my credit. The consequences are not mine to erase. He hung up and never called again. Valeria wrote to me once from a friend's phone. I hope you are happy. You destroyed your family. I did not reply. I blocked her. 6 months later, my mother accepted a plea deal: 3 years in prison with possible conditional release after 18 months. Valeria received 2 years with suspended sentence and community service. Now 1 year later, I sit on the terrace of my apartment. I have just returned from dinner with real friends, people who know me and celebrate my successes without resentment. My phone has no urgent messages asking for money. There are no calls from my mother criticizing my choices. There are no comparisons with Valeria, who lost everything: the groom, the house, and her reputation. The silence does not hurt. It heals. Sometimes I think about that wedding that never happened, the white tents and the expensive flowers bought with my money. And I wonder how much longer they would have continued taking if I had not stopped everything. The answer is always the same: forever, because to them I was never a daughter. I was a source of money that made the unforgivable mistake of closing. And honestly, I do not regret it. Justice does not feel like fireworks. It feels like breathing without a weight on my chest for the first time in years. It feels like finally being free. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.